Battle with the Detroit Tigers. And Detroit coming in on this Sunday trying to take 2 out of 3 after getting an extra inning win in last night's ball game. It went 13 innings on Friday night, 12 innings last night before Detroit finally prevailed to split the series to this point. And we've got another warm afternoon, some overcast skies. Indians take the field. Carl Pavano will be gunning for his 9th win on the year. While Pavano makes his way to the center of the diamond, let's take a look at the starting lineup for Jim Leyland and the Detroit Tigers. Curtis Granderson, your leadoff man in center field. Ramon Santiago is at second. Clete Thomas batting third in right field. Miguel Cabrera, Carlos Guillen, and Ryan Rayburn. And then it's Brandon Inge, Gerald Laird, and Adam Everett.
On the mound for the Indians, Carl Pavano making his 21st start this year. He is 8-8, but he has done very well against the Tigers this year. He is 2-0. He's beaten Armando Galarraga twice this year, once back on May 1st. He went 7 1/3 innings, and then July 11th where he went 8 innings. So they're matched up for the third time. We'll see if Carl prevails. He's had a very good changeup against these guys the 2 times he has pitched against them, but in his last couple of starts, he has struggled. He has given up 8 home runs, all solo home runs in his last 2 starts, 4 in Toronto and 4 against the LA Angels. So we'll see if he can keep the ball in the ballpark this afternoon. Let's take a look at the Indians' defense behind Pavano. The Indians team shop at Great Northern Mall in North Olmsted. In the outfield, it's Crow in left, Sizemore in center, Chu is in right. Peralta at third, Cabrera at short, Valbuena at second, Marte is at first, and Shopping behind the plate.
Umpiring crew today, Mike Winters calling balls and strikes. Jerry Lane, the crew chief, down at first. Tony Randazzo is at second, and Chris Guccione over at third. So Curtis Granderson ready to step in and get us underway. Carl Pavano try to avoid the home run bug that has really bit him hard in his last 2 starts. Granderson, meanwhile, is just 1 for 11 in the series. So the Indians have done a good job to this point, keeping him off the bases. Tigers start the day a game and a half up in front of Chicago in the American League Central. Indians, meanwhile, 12 games off the pace, 43-61. Royals bringing up the rear at 40-63. Pavano deals, and he ran it in there. Pushed him back off the plate, 1-2 the count.
That's the one thing that Pavano does so well is pitch inside to both right and left-handed hitters. But in his last couple of starts, Matt, he's left some balls out over the plate. His changeup was up in Toronto. He was really upstairs because it would have been a while since he started.
2-2, can't get that pitch over the inside corner, but he is at least showing Granderson that he is coming inside more than just occasionally. And the 2-2 fouled back out of play. Is there a matchup reason why Pavano has had pretty good success against the Tigers lineup?
He's been able to throw the right-handers changeups, and I think the right-handers would rather see that breaking ball going down and away instead of a straight change that looks like the fastball, and they get started and they know it's not going to break and they just can't hold up and they swing through a lot of times. And he's always had, for the most part this year, very good control with his changeup.
Tigers are normally a right-handed dominant lineup. They do have 4 left-handed swingers in there today.
And he is normally better against the right-handers than the left-handers. Left-handers are hitting 284. Right-handers 325 and 13 home runs out of the 19 that Carl has allowed. When you take into consideration 8 of them have come, he had only given up 11 prior to his last 2 starts.
In the air, right field, Chu charging in. He's going to play it on a bounce. And Granderson gets aboard with a base hit to start the game. 75 degrees, our game time temperature here in downtown Cleveland.
There's a ball that looked like it got inside on Granderson because Chu was not going to be able to get there, so he had to play it on the hop.
Ramon Santiago steps in. Last 12 games, just 4 hits in 30 at-bats. We'll see if the Tigers try to run against Pavano. That's something that we have seen teams do more and more frequently here of late.
Well, he has allowed 19 stolen bases. They're 19 for 25 off him this year.
Anderson back with the dive.
But with Polanco with the day off, that's why you have Santiago in the number 2 hole.
Pavano comes set. One thing we haven't seen from Carl is any kind of a slide step to try and slow that run game down. And so if you're a base dealer, you know eventually if he goes to that high leg kick, you can take off.
Well, some pitchers don't even like to mess with the slide step because it messes with their mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
And they figure that they lose a little zip on their fastball, if they don't have their kick. Some can do it, some try to rush, and they don't like doing it, and I don't blame them. You've got to get the hitters out.
Takes off, swing and a miss, throw down, and not in time. Cabrera gave it a good effort to try and make the catch and the swipe tag all at once. We saw that work against the Indians in Anaheim on a throw that was off the mark, but I believe it was the Angels shortstop, Torres, who was able to make the catch and then swipe tag and hit, I think it was Valbuena on the foot.
It was. It was either Cabrera or Valbuena. You're exactly right. But he kept his feet down. So that's the 20th stolen base off Pavano this year.
2-1 the count on the ball in the dirt. As Santiago was thinking about just butting him over to third.
Well, I would think that the way that Pavano has pitched against this club this year, they would love to try and get the early lead. Because in both starts, he's given up 2 runs. But it was late in the ball game, and he went deep into both games.
Good bunt out in front of the plate. Shoppett calls for it. Throws to first to take care of Santiago. Granderson down to third with 1 out. That combined with the fact, Rick, that the Tigers are just 5 for 30 in the series with runners in scoring position may have led Jim Leland to the decision to, hey, let's just try to get one early.
Yeah, they haven't, you're right, been hitting with runners in scoring position.
They did get one big hit last night in that 12th inning to drive in the 2 runs that proved to be, drove in 1 run.
Yeah, that was Rayburn that got that hit. And it just seemed like it relieved a lot of tension from that team.
Yeah.
You looked in the dugout and they said, finally. And then teams go through that where they struggle hitting with runners in scoring position. And it seems like they tense up.
Liner to third, snared by Peralta, and he turns back to make sure Granderson didn't stray too far. So Clete Thomas can't get him home from third, hit it hard.
Well, he hit it just right into the tracks of Peralta.
And with 2 down, tough customer in Miguel Cabrera. He's third in the American League now in batting average with a .336 mark. And he came inside on him for strike 1.
Well, when you look at this series, Matt, and we were talking about runners in scoring position and 2 outs, Detroit 1 for 15, the Indians 1 for 11. Now, neither team has been able to get that big 2-out hit.
Pavano delivering a ball to Cabrera to even the count. Let's look at our Firestone League leaders, a tradition of innovation. Miguel Cabrera trailing only Ichiro Suzuki and Joe Mauer, although he's trailing both of them by a pretty wide margin. That could be a pretty good race down the stretch between Ichiro and Mauer for the batting title.
Yeah.
Foul away, 1-2 the count.
Who do you take?
Well, I mean, you have to take Suzuki, and for the simple reason of what we've talked about so many times, his ability to get those infield hits. Joe Mauer's not going to leg out.
I know, but he's won 2 batting titles. He knows what it takes. And there's a catcher, that taking a beating behind the plate. I mean, you're right. I think most people would say, I'm going to take Suzuki. Jammed him.
Grounder to third. Johnny Peralta will throw him out. And the inning is over, so the Tigers can't get that run home from third with less than 2 out. And Pavano works out of it. Now the Indians coming to bat against Armando Galarraga next. Progressive Field celebrating Slider's birthday. He is 19. It is hard to believe that Slider will be leaving home soon at the age of 19. I think Mom and Dad told him it's time to get out and get his own place. Grady Sizemore, Drupal Cabrera, Shin-Soo Choo, Peralta, Hafner, Valbuena, Marte, Crow, and Shopik. The Tribe's starting 9 brought to you by Progressive Insurance, proud to be the official auto insurance provider of the Cleveland Indians. Grady Sizemore to lead it off, 0 for 6. Trying to break that spell.
Well, and as Jim Leyland said before the game, if ever there was a starter or a big start or a big game during the course of the year, this is it today for the Tigers. The way that bullpen has been used in this series prior to coming into this series, they're exhausted. So he's counting on Galarraga heavily today.
Catches the outside corner, and the Tigers really feel that Galarraga has turned a corner since his start on June 30th against Oakland. He's given up more than 1 run in only 2 of those 5 starts.
Well, he's found his slider. He's pitching better to right-handers. He's given up 18 home runs this year, but he's only given up a few in his last 5 starts. So he's keeping the ball in the ballpark. He's given up 1 this year to the Indians, and this being his 3rd start.
Grady bloops it toward left, but Ryan Rayburn is there to make the grab 1 away.
Let's check the Tigers' defense behind Galarraga this afternoon. They're rated 8th in the league with 62 errors. Rayburn's in left, Granderson center, Thomas is in right. Inge at third, Everett at short, Santiago at second, Cabrera is at first with Laird behind the dish. And Armando Galarraga, look at his numbers, 5 and 9, not what they were looking for. Last year he was 13 and 7. and one of their better pitchers. And they need a turnaround from this guy. And with Washburn being added to this staff, he certainly can help them out. Rick Porcello threw the ball very well last night for the youngster, 20-year-older.
Yeah,
boy, he was terrific.
He was impressive.
They've got decent starters. If they can turn it around, Washburn helps them out. And the way Verlander's pitched this year, they've got a very formidable rotation.
Pitches up high. Well, here's something to keep in mind, too. In his last 4 starts, and one of those came against the Indians, he's lost, well, the Tigers have lost 4-3, 5-4, 2-1, 5-2. So they haven't scored a lot lately anyway when he's on the hill.
That's Edwin Jackson's problem. They don't score when he's on the hill. Offensively, this Tiger team has really struggled.
They're hit and miss sometimes offensively.
It seems like they hit bad pitching. They jump all over it when they do.
As Dribble Cabrera with a 1-out single sharply hit to right field. That's his 5th hit in the series. And the good thing about that pitch was down. We've seen him chase a lot of pitches up in this series.
See, he's a really good low ball hitter, and he's got to make sure he gets that ball down in the zone.
So he goes back to our old buddy Charlie Manuel as a hitting coach, know thyself.
Yeah.
And for Cabrera, it's enticing, I suppose, which is why it's tough to lay off that high pitch sometimes.
But hitters go through it all year. You're going to start swinging at pitches out of the zone. You get tired maybe mentally, and it's going to be a little tougher for him because he's got different guys in that lineup hitting around him, and more pressure is going to be put on Cabrera to hit.
Speaking of which, here's Shin-Soo Choo. And while he has been in the middle of the order most of the year for the Indians, at least he's been able to take comfort in that Victor Martinez has been either in front of him or behind him to offer some protection.
Right.
But now with Martinez gone, it's Peralta, Hafner, and Valbuena following Choo today.
That West Coast trip we had, I don't think we'll see a stretch like that from the hitters again.
Long drive, left field, fair ball into the corner, touched by a fan. And Cabrera waved around third, and they're going to give him home plate, so he's going to score. Mike Winters, home plate umpire, said he would have scored. Fan interference is not automatically 2 bases. It's the discretion of the umpire, and he's saying that ball would have gone into the corner and that Cabrera would have scored anyway. Jim Leland's going to come out and argue, but really it's a judgment call.
Now Jimmy says, wait. Yeah, he already called it. The third base umpire called it, Chris Guccione. And he did because the fan touched the ball, so it's an automatic ground rule double.
No, it's the umpire's discretion, isn't it?
But on that base runner coming around, it's the umpire's discretion on whether he would have scored or not. So that's what he's explaining to Leland right now.
Because on a ground rule double, the runner only gets 2 bases. On fan interference, then it's the umpire's discretion as to whether or not he thinks he would have scored or not. And very rarely do we ever see it called. Most of the time they take the safe way out and just say, well, you stop at third.
I'm going to sit here and wait and see.
I will say this, Rick. Cabrera was not quite to third base.
Look at Jimmy Leland says, that's all right, go back to first base, no big deal. It's going to count. It's going to score. It'll go as a double for Choo. And now watch the fan. He slices it down the line. It'll go right up into the seats. If that fan doesn't touch it, you got a girl there too, isn't it?
It's into the corner.
Yes, it is. That doesn't matter.
See,
I think he might have scored. You see, he's going to run right into him anyway.
See, I think he's right. I think there's no question he would have scored right there. Well, that's the call by the home plate umpire. That ball was deep into the corner, and you're banking on Rayburn making a whale of a play and then a throw to even have a chance. Pitches inside to Johnny Peralta. 1 ball, 1 strike. So for Choo, his 59th run batted in on the year. And the count 2-1 on Peralta, who's been an RBI machine since that last road trip. In his last 10 games, Johnny's batting .400, and he's driven in 16 runs. Take a look at our great clip of the game from yesterday. Peralta putting the Indians on top. Relax, you're at great clips. He drove in 2 runs for the Indians last night, their first 2. Also had that sac fly. Remember when he got jammed and blooped it in? Or blooped it to the outfielder. He didn't go around, and it's ball 4. So Johnny draws a walk. 2 on, 1 out, and Travis Hafner to the plate. Gerald Laird out to talk with Galarraga.
I don't know if this is the start that Jim Leyland envisioned.
Well, 3 of the first 4 batters got themselves ahead 2-0 in the count.
Yeah, that's the key.
And as you talked about the kind of start you're looking for, that's not what you want to see your pitcher get ahead. That limits the number of pitches you have to throw. Foul tipped. I mean, that was what was so impressive last night, especially through the first 4 innings. Both Sowers and Porcello.
They were pretty much even going through 4.
Just carving them up right quick. Get out of there. And Jeremy ran into a buzzsaw in the 5th, but still limited the damage, which was the key to keeping the Indians in the game. 0-2. This will be pitch number 20 here in the first inning coming up for Armando Galarraga. We have seen teams continue to pound Travis Hafner in.
Well, why not? He's swinging at it. A lot of times it's not a strike. He's trying to get inside. I mean, you see slightly open, and that's just like a ball out of the zone. But it goes to show you what hitters have to do with 2 strikes, and they're down in the count. They've got to protect the zone. So they'll swing at pitches out of the zone just to stay alive, and Hafner had to do it right here. That's a ball, but he's down in the count. Look at that. That's an emergency swing.
The 0-2 down and in, and Laird can't find it. Going to third is Chu. And good heads-up base running by Shin-Soo Choo. That's something we have seen all season long from the Indians right fielder.
Good base running, but they still have the double play in order because Peralta at first didn't follow. And, you know, it's a little tougher on the guy on first base because you have to make sure that guy at second is going to go. You don't want to go and force him off second base if he stops. You know what I mean? A lot of times a guy might stop and try and go back because he didn't pick it up. Chu was heads up to get to third base, so you don't blame Peralta there for not getting into to second.
One-two pitch.
Look at that.
Tapper back to the mound. Chu's going to come home, but they're going to turn to double play and get out of the inning. 1-6-3 on the twin killer, but the Indians grab the early lead thanks to the double by Chu. 1-0 Cleveland. Fly right. By McCafe Coffees at McDonald's. All made to order with fresh ground espresso beans. And by All Care Dental and Dentures, we make seeing the dentist easy. Second inning here at Progressive Field. Indians with a 1-0 lead. And Carl Pavano will go to work on Carlos Guillen, then Ryan Rayburn and Brandon Inge. First pitch strike to Guillen as the sun peeks through the cloud cover here in downtown Cleveland. Started raining after the ball game last night.
Yeah, it sure did.
Over the evening, but
that's okay.
Cleared up nice.
Yes, it.
Grounder to third. Johnny Peralta, you talk about playing him perfectly in the hole. He was right there. Here's a look at today's Alltel text poll. Question of the game. What role do you think is best for Justin Masterson? 1 for starter, 2 for 8th inning setup, 3 for middle reliever. Text your answer to 31962.
Well, eliminate 3.
We'll have the results later in the game.
Hit about 2. We're looking at number 1.
Chris Antonetti, Indians assistant general manager, I had a chance to talk to him earlier today, and he said they're going to get Masterson one more extended bullpen outing to stretch him out. Probably get a side bullpen session and then try to work him into the rotation.
And then you work him in. If he pitches 5 innings, great. And then you gradually stretch him out. There's, 57, 56 games left in this season.
Shallow right, Chu broke back. He's got a long way to go, but he gets there. 2 down. They save 70 to 81% off jewelry right now during the overstock sale at Alvin's, your Cleveland family jeweler since 1931. Thousands of items, rings, earrings, pendants, diamonds, and gold, all up to 81% off. Find your sale dates and locations at alvinsjewelers.com. Two away, here's Brandon Inge. Since the All-Star break, over his last 15 games, hitting just 167. How many times you see over the years guys go to that home run derby, having a good year, and then come out of that home run derby and struggle in the second half? Remember Albert Bell? He went into that home run derby, and it screwed his swing up for a month.
Well, I don't know if you change your swing to try and get there to begin with, but when I don't know.
Inge gets a base hit with 2 down here, and it brings up Gerald Laird. It's probably coincidence more than anything.
And
sure
I think something is mental. Home runs are a byproduct of good at-bats. So if you're putting up quality or good at-bats, then the home runs will come. It hasn't hurt Pujols, has it?
But when you get into the home run derby, you're trying to hit home
lifting
run.
and separate. Well, it's probably because you dislocate a few vertebrae in your back trying to lift and get them out of there.
Gerald Laird, 0 for 5 in the series. One after the first pitch and shoots it back.
Here comes the sun.
Now the 0-1. Strike to the inside corner. Laird said, "You are not kidding me."
He's saying, no, that ball's inside and it's high.
It sure didn't look like a strike
Well,
initially.
I'll tell you what, that's the one pitch that has not been getting called. That's not a strike. That's one pitch that has not been getting called this whole series, the inside pitch. But if you're going to call it, that's a beautiful thing. Go right back in there.
Back goes Valbuena, makes the grab, and the Tigers retired here in the second. 1-0 Cleveland. Lead it, Kids Fun Day. Lots of youngsters in the crowd as we celebrate Slider's 19th birthday with a Slider Bobster giveaway. They had a band playing out on the plaza as I was walking in today, and they were rocking out too, playing old school rock songs. And then I looked up. The drummer was about 3 feet tall. They're all little kids. It was unbelievable. Right? Yeah, they were jamming.
Playing old songs, huh?
The old school. Yeah, your era.
Beautiful. Gotta love them.
Jimi Hendrix. Look at it. Look at this kid.
Holy smokes.
Getting after it.
You're not kidding, were you?
Oh, Guns N' Roses.
Look at that kid's lost in the drum set.
You can't even hardly see
fighting
him.
His way out.
Pitch up high to Luis Valbuena.
Holy cow.
3-1 the count. Valbuena batted .321 in the month of July. So really offensively starting to find a little bit of a groove.
I was going to say, how many stops did we have in Chicago?
High fly to right, and with that wind blowing out, that could be interesting as the day goes on. 1 away. Hey, don't forget, every time the Indians hit the home run, we're raising money for the Gathering Place, a wonderful, caring community that helps individuals and their families who are battling cancer. Every time the Indians homer, our friends at Great Clips donate $50. Rick and I are each donating $5 per home run. You can make a donation as well by logging on to touchedbycancer.org.
We'll find it, Matty.
There's a line drive to right field. Back goes Thomas, and he makes the catch. Marte hit it hard, but Thomas right there to grab it 2 away.
Well, the Tribe will take on the Twins on Thursday at 12:05. It's Lunch and 3 Innings Day. Purchase a $15 upper reserve or mezzanine ticket and receive a $10 food voucher for any concession stand here at the ballpark. And you take your lunch break at the park, stay for 3 innings of the whole game. Come on out. Visit Indians.com for your tickets.
Two down, Trevor Crow looks at the ball down low. We got a nice letter from Jake Jacobs of Barberton, Ohio, who also sent us a donation to the Gathering Place.
Yeah, we want to thank Jake. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
That'll go into the till, and they'll certainly be appreciative.
Jake lost his wife to breast cancer, and they were married 43 years, but they got to the ballpark here to see the Indians and Red Sox before she passed away, and that was certainly a great memory for Jake.
Well, we thank you, and the Gathering Place thanks you.
He writes that since 2000 he's been a non-paid high school baseball coach, and he loves it.
Good for him.
Absolutely. 3-0 pitch to Crow. In there for a called strike. Trevor batted .302 at AAA. Had a big game the other night, scoring 3 runs. 5 for 11 in the series, including a double and his first major league triple. Slider and some of his friends enjoying the beautiful afternoon here at the ball yard. Full count. Is that the Washington Nationals mascot? Who's Skipper representing
Skipper.
there?
There goes Skipper.
Is that the Lake County Captains mascot? Payoff pitch. Liner toward left. Rayburn on the move, and he makes the grab. So 3 hard hit balls, but nothing to show for it. Indians go 1-2-3. Through 2, 1-0 Cleveland. Back here at Progressive Field on Slider's birthday, all his mascot friends, they're having a great time, and the Indians lead the Tigers 1-0. As we go to the third inning, Matt Underwood, Rick Manning with you. Happy to be joined now by Allison Clark, who's the founder of Kick It, and you may have heard some of our promotions talking about Kick It, which is a great charitable cause where you can buy your kickball kits, set up a kickball charity game in your neighborhood, in your community, and help raise money for adolescent and pediatric cancer research. And Allison, I know this is a cause obviously very close to you. And how's it going so far?
You know, it's going great. We really we've had a lot of interest from a lot of kids, and really the message of kickball is kids can make a difference. And it was started by our son, who was 10 years old, and really kids can do a lot.
Brady Sizemore makes a grab coming in from center field for out number one, brings up Curtis Granderson. And how is your son doing?
He's doing well. You know, it's a long road, and this is his second time through, so we're all keeping our fingers crossed for scans on Monday.
But he, you know, was when he was diagnosed, he wanted to do something. He wanted to make a difference.
Yep.
How did that strike you when he approached you about this whole idea at first?
Well, it was funny. He sat me down. He said, "Mom, we need to find a cure." And I, of course, knew that already. But then he said, "How about kickball?" And I said, "Well, okay, how about kickball?" And I think it's because it is a real child that came up with a real story. That's why it works.
It's a great idea. And today, as a matter of fact, will be the first kickball game held right here at Progressive Field, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And that's going to be fun. I mean, so you can compete for your team to get a chance to get to Progressive Field and play.
That's right.
Tell the folks how you can do that.
You go to the website, which is kickit.org, and for every $25 that a child raises or his or her team raises, then they're entered in the contest to come play here on the field for the next 5 after the Kids Fun Days. We play in the outfield, and today we have a couple of players playing with us as well.
Well, that's good. Yeah, well, I know Eric Wedge and the players are supporting this every Sunday, and Travis Hafner's going to be out there with one team, and I think Trevor Crow and Chris Jimenez will be out there. That'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be really fun, and I think that they're competitive guys, so they're probably going to really want to win just as badly as the kids want to win.
Liner to second base. Luis Valbuena takes care of it. 2 down, and it'll bring up Ramon Santiago, and you're hoping that the message gets out there and you can spread it, and this is a great way to do it because I think, people see kids getting involved, and that's going to make parents and friends of parents want to get involved as well. And
it's something that kids like to do. It's not a walk. Everyone loves to play kickball, so it's fun for everyone, and you don't have to be very athletic to play. And so you can be up to the age of 25 to play in these games, and believe me, those 10-year-olds, they go after those 20-year-old kids. They don't care how old they are. And they beat them sometimes.
Line drive, right field, and Chu makes the grab. Well, Allison, thanks so much for stopping by.
Thanks so much, Matt.
Good luck with Kick It.
Thank you.
It's Allison Clark, the founder of Kick It. And we have a Slider's kids are here.
That's a lot of kids for 19.
He starts young.
Yes.
Triplets. Kelly Shopik leading off, fouls it back. Shopik getting the start today. 4 hits in his last 7 at-bats. Bottom of the third, Tribe scoring in the first inning on an RBI double by Shin-Soo Choo, played it as Drupal Cabrera.
Well, we had mentioned we were out on the West Coast, out in Anaheim. We noticed that where Kelly had brought the hands down to the back shoulder, and it allowed him to free up his swing, and he can go the other way a little bit easier.
Pops up to right field to start the bottom of the third, 1 away. Let's head down on the farm and take a look at our Subway fresh face of the game, Bo Mills. Last night in Binghamton, went 4 for 5 with a double, and over his last 6 games, has homered 3 times. Subway, play hard, eat fresh. On the year, Bo Mills batting .270. He's doubled 24 times, 10 homers, 57 runs batted in. That covers 105 games. And in the second half, he's really heated up, batting .333. Brady Sizemore flied to left his first time up. Lines this one foul. Now the 0-2 pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Two and two. I like the fact that Allison said you don't have to be very athletic to play kickball, which means I could play.
I was going to say that, but then she said you can't be over 25, and I know you're well over that.
Maybe we need an old-timers game. Liner up the middle on 1 hop. Santiago off balance throw, and he didn't get him. Oh, Grady beats it out. Cabrera looks into the dugout saying, Jim, will you come out and argue for me?
Well, that's exactly what he was doing. He felt he had him. That's why he looked into the dugout. Now, if his foot is on the base, it looked like he might have had him. But now he's explaining maybe that he came off the base. It was a nice play by Santiago at second. He had to go up the middle, and Sizemore, you know how he can get down the line.
I think you're right, Rick. He must have said something to the effect that he wasn't on the bag.
That's right.
Because if he was on the bag, he was out.
Well, let's see from this angle. It looked like he kept his foot on the bag. He's out.
Yeah, you're right.
I'll tell you what, that's a bad call. He'll get a base hit, which is good for Grady, but that was a bad call. He was on the base.
Pitch is outside, ball 1. As Drupal Cabrera singled and scored in the first. See if the Indians could take advantage of their good fortune. Pitch out, nothing doing. I wonder too, Rick, sometimes for an umpire, on a bang-bang play when a short hop is involved, that is just a very difficult play to call. You know, when you're looking at it?
Well,
because you're looking at the foot, you're looking at the ball, and then you see the short hop.
A lot of times you hear the ball going into the glove. More times you're watching that base where there's foot. I don't see how he could miss it with his foot being on the base right there.
I thought initially, like you, maybe the foot came off, but a replay showed that he was on the base. But the Indians will take it. They've seen enough of those calls go against them this year. Two-one delivery in there for a strike.
There's the angle. See, he picks it, he has it. There's his foot on the base before Grady hits it. I mean, his foot never even came close to coming off the base.
Oh.
That's why I'm saying I don't know what he told Leland, but
Jim's 0 for 2, by the way, in arguments today, so count goes full.
Well, you keep going out there and plead your case. We still got a few more innings. There's 6 more to go. Maybe when it really matters in the 7th or 8th, that'll go his way.
I'm going to remember you said that and hope it doesn't come back into play.
I know, that's what I'm thinking.
Let's see if Grady's moving on this 3-2 pitch.
I would say yes.
There he goes. And Cabrera hits it in the air to right. And Clete Thomas has been busy today. His throw back to first, not nearly in time. 2 away.
Well, visit any of the Northeast Ohio Indians Team Shop locations, including the new Team Shop and the Strip in North Canton. Indians Team Shop, your source for game tickets and authentic Indians merchandise.
That's 4 putouts for Clete Thomas, the Tigers right fielder. Chu rolls one to first, and Cabrera almost had to go inside his shirt. Inning over. Through 3, 1-0 Cleveland. And at least so far, this game playing out like the first 2.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. As long as the outcome doesn't, where you go into extra innings.
You're not voting. You're not pulling for extras today.
The last time the Tigers and the Indians played extra inning games in back-to-back nights goes back to 1980. I was a player back then.
Wow, 1980.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
I don't. No. I told you I don't remember the 70s or 80s.
Down low, 2-0 to Clete Thomas.
This is the first 2-0 count for Carl Pavano this afternoon.
His 38th pitch of the day is a one-hopper that ate up Valbuena.
That's what happens to you when you get that 2-0 count. That hitter, you can eliminate some of that doubt, look for the pitch you're looking for, and Thomas put an excellent swing on it. Almost airlipped Valbuena right there.
Little top spin.
Little one-hopper, and it's like, get out of the way. Yeah, you don't know how that ball's going to come off that. That's a hard infield, and that ball shoots up, and you just hope it goes into your glove, and you hope you don't get hit in the face.
So now Miguel Cabrera, who grounded to third his first time up. Down low, for ball one.
See, this is a team that they'll get after Pavano early. You know, if he continues to throw strike one. He did in his first 2 starts. They had 6 batters that have gone to 2 pitches, have gone down with 2 pitches or less.
So he may go to more first pitch changeups now, do you
yeah,
think?
that's exactly right. Instead of going fastballs all the time.
Up and in. 2-0.
Again, back-to-back hitters.
Cabrera 5 hits and 13 at-bats in this series. And he comes up empty on a good fastball from Carl Pavano. Beautiful day here in downtown Cleveland. Breeze picking up as it blows out toward right field. .30 strikes, just 10 balls so far. Good off-speed pitch. Had him out in front a little bit. 2-2. Clete Thomas, leadoff man at first here in the 4th. Indians up 1-0. Runner goes. A little jam job.
Got him, double
play. It's going to be caught by Cabrera, and an easy double play. Well, he really got in his kitchen with this
Second
pitch.
straight time he went in there, and now Cabrera seems like he's swinging just about everything. Well, it jams him. An easy play for Cabrera. He had to come in on it. And he realized that Thomas was all the way to second base. You just get it across the diamond, and you got the easy double play. There you
Up
go.
in the air,
One
center
pitch.
field. Grady Sizemore in. And just like that, Carl Pavano gets out of it. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. It remains Cleveland 1, Detroit 0. Tribe on top 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Johnny Peralta, Travis Hafner, and Luis Valbuena. Armando Galarraga delivers down low for ball one. He has made 50 pitches so far here today. Peralta walked his first time up. 2-0. Galarraga takes a walk off the mound to try and refocus. And Johnny promptly smacks it into right field. And he stays sizzling hot. That's his 5th hit in the series. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're watching Cleveland Indians baseball. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning with you here at Progressive Field on a warm, breezy afternoon in downtown Cleveland. Travis Hafner hit into an inning-ending double play in the first. Looks at strike one.
Well, everything in that first at-bat was in. Now he starts him off with that little two-seamer away.
Down low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, it's another Central Division showdown next Sunday right here on Channel 3 as the Tribe completes a weekend series in Chicago. Don't miss the Indians and the White Sox. It's next Sunday at 1 right here on KYC Channel 3, your official Cleveland Indians station. I was going to say, I think that would be 2, and that is the correct time, 2 o'clock. It'll be 1 o'clock in Chicago.
Right.
It'll be 2 o'clock Eastern time. 2 o'clock next Sunday right here. Oops, sorry, Gary.
It's a nice road trip, isn't it? Go to Chicago for 3 days and come right back.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And then the next road trip, 3 days to Minnesota and right back.
Uh-huh.
Two one line drive right at the shortstop Everett. With one out here in the fourth, we go back to the studios for a Ford Sports update with Dave Chudowski.
All right, Matt, we're going to check in on the Red Sox and Orioles. Victor Martinez got out in his first at-bat, but J.D. Drew, he did not. With the bases loaded and 2 outs, he clears them to give the Red Sox a 3-0 lead. Right now, they lead 4-zip in the second. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Dave. And the Orioles are reeling. They've lost 7 out of 10, closing in on their 60th loss of the season.
The only team we haven't played yet. That's hard to believe, isn't it?
That's an odd quirk in the schedule to where you'll play them, 6 times?
Right.
Between
7 because 4-game series in Baltimore.
Down low.
Right at the end of the month.
Yeah, so between August 27th and September 27th, we'll play them 7 times. One-0 pitch. A called strike. Valbuena flied to right his first time up. Picked up a hit in 7 of his last 8 games. Peralta was running, and it gets past Cabrera. Down the right field line, Johnny's got to pick up the ball. He had slid into second, but he's able to easily get up and go to third. So Indians at the corners on a ball that skipped past Cabrera.
Well, he started Peralta. He started the runner, so it was a hit and run. And even if Cabrera makes this play, I think he would only had a chance to get the out at first base. But Peralta goes sliding in. He didn't pick up the baseball and turn around. And that's a tough one because it is behind you. So he didn't realize where it was. So he slides into second base. But he's able to get up and go to third, so Tribe will have runners at the corners, 1 out, and a chance to add to a 1-0 lead.
Andy Marte lined the ball to right field his last time up, hit it hard. And that's what they're looking for, at least in this at-bat, to get that run home. Takes a first pitch strike. Marte 0 for his last 7, all in this series. Looks at the ball down low. He batted .327 at AAA Columbus this year. 24 doubles, 18 home runs. And based on those numbers and the way he played, getting an opportunity here at the big leagues. The 1-1 outside. 2 balls and a strike. With Trevor Crowe waiting on deck. Galarraga's 2-1 pitch. Instead, he comes off and nothing doing.
Surprised he even
I was
threw
going
it
to say
first. You don't have to once you.
I think he surprised Miguel Cabrera. Luckily, he didn't throw it hard. Just a little lob over. Outside, 3-1. So Andy Marte can zero in on his pitch right here. And a line drive. Fair ball down the left field line. Peralta scores. Valbuena. He's digging for third. He's going to get waved home. There will be no relay, and Valbuena scores. It's a 2-run double for Andy Marte, and the Indians lead it 3-0. For Marte, his first double, his first runs batted in on the year. And again, he got himself into a great hitter's count. Obviously looked for his pitch, got it, and then put it in play.
That's good. I mean, put a nice swing on the ball, and it seems like when Galarraga has fallen behind the hitters, the Indians have been able to take advantage of it. This is going to be a McDonald's. I'm loving it. And that's a nice swing by Marte. And all of the Indians' runs have scored on a double today. It was Chu's double in the first, and now Marte's double here in the fourth. That'll make it a 3-0 ball game.
Now Trevor Crowe steps in, looks at a ball outside. You can see on the I'm loving it replay there, that ball, it didn't kick the sidewall and come out. It went straight down into the corner. And then a little misplay by Rayburn allowed Valbuena to just keep on rolling. He never broke stride. Trevor Crowe lined out the left, hit it hard his first time up. Now he smokes one deep to right field. On the run, Thomas, he won't get it. That's in the corner. Crowe's digging for 2. He's in safely, and scoring is Andy Marte. An RBI double for Trevor Crowe, a 3-run fourth. And the Indians now lead it 4-0. For Trevor Crowe, his 5th double, his 5th run batted in.
There's that ball on the inside part of the plate. He's able to turn on it and keep it fair. It gets down there by the time Thomas could get it. He's going to try and make a throw, but Crowe's speed too good. He slides into second base. Gets his 5th double, his 5th RBI. And that's a big inning. A 3-run inning makes it a 4-0 ball game. And it's double your pleasure. Third double of the game.
Yeah, Rick Knapp, pitching coach, out to talk with Galarraga. But it's the bottom part of the order that comes through. Marte, the 7th hitter, Crowe, the 8th hitter, driving in all 3 runs here. And now Kelly Shopik, the number 9 hitter, comes in with a runner in scoring position. Hoppick popped up to right field his first time up. And he hits it hard to left, but this one's right at Rayburn, who had to reach down at the last moment. A little top spin on that fly ball. 2 down.
Now the fly balls have either been to left field or right field. When you look at it, Rayburn has 3. Thomas has 4, and then that little pop up to shortstop. And this ball had a little sinking action to it.
He's not making him use the big part of the field, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Now Grady Sizemore, an infield hit his last time up.
Now the Indian hitters taking advantage of Galarraga when they're ahead in the count. They're 5 for 9.
So that tells you that he really doesn't have anything he can throw by hitters. He doesn't have anything he can catch up to him with. He's got to get ahead in the count.
Well, yes. He's not. That slider isn't biting like it once did.
This is hit pretty hard to center. Granderson straight back. It's over his head and gone! Grady Sizemore with his 15th home run of the year. A 2-out, 2-run shot makes it a 5-run 4th and a 6-0 Indians lead. He socked that one to straightaway center, and once you saw Granderson turn his back to home plate, you knew it had a chance. But it just did clear the fence as we look on our Pepsi home run replay.
Yeah, boy, he went down and hit that ball a long way for where it was at, and straightaway center field. Granderson wanted to play it off the wall, realizing I'm not going to get there. That was like a liner, but it stayed up long enough, far enough. And it's the 19th home run given up by Galarraga, and it is now a 6-0 ball game.
Grady Sizemore, who had been 0 for his last 7 in the series, 2 for his last 2 now with a single and a 2-run homer. So a big inning for the Indians, something that we haven't seen a lot of in this series. 1-1 pitch, and that is hits being bunched together. Pop back out of play. And a ground ball fair down the first base line. It's by Cabrera. As Drupal Cabrera making his way towards second base, the throw by Thomas is offline, and Cabrera has his second hit of the day. And the Indians have batted around here in the 4th against Armando Galarraga, and they have hit some hard balls in this inning. No dinking and dunking here.
No, they've with authority. There's a breaking ball. He sneaks down the line at first base. That's a 4th double in the ball game. 3rd in this inning to go along with the home run. And as we said earlier, this is the last thing that Jim Leyland wanted was for Galarraga to have an inning like this because he needs innings from him. He may have to take one for the team and stay out there for a while anyway.
Well, there's no stirring in that bullpen. 76 pitches for Galarraga, but the 9th man to bat in the inning is Shin-Soo Choo, who had an RBI double in his first at bat. Grounded out to first his last time up. Swung on and missed, 1-2. This will be the 30th pitch of the inning. Coming up right here for Armando Galarraga. The Indians went 23 innings without scoring more than 1 run in any inning before exploding for a 5-run fourth. And Chu looking to keep pouring it on here. Full count. As Drupal Cabrera, the runner at second base. And the payoff pitch to Chu. High pop, shallow center, Granderson in. He makes the catch and the inning is over, but the Indians bat around, score 5 times. A 2-run double by Marte, a 2-run homer by Sizemore. Brought to you by Subway. Play hard, eat fresh. And by Alltel Wireless. Choose who you call for free with My Circle. Any number, any network. The lights are on, and the Indians are home, leading at 6-0.
Home.
And Carl Pavano has to feel pretty good about the way things have shaped up for him. 10 of 15 first pitch strikes. And now armed with a 6-0 lead. Ryan Rayburn, Brandon Inge, Gerald Laird for Detroit here in the 5th. Two balls and a strike. Up the middle it goes. Cabrera with a dive, but it's off his glove. And Rayburn has a leadoff single here in the 5th. Another check of the Alltel text poll question of the game. What do you think is the best role for Justin Masterson? Start him, 8th inning, middle relief. Text your answer to 31962. Results coming up later in the game. Now here's the thinking for the Indians, too, with regards to Masterson. They want to stretch him out, take a look at him as a starter, bring him to spring training next year as a starter, look at him, look at the way the rest of the pitching staff and the rotation sets up, look at the depth, and then if you want to move him back to the bullpen,
you always can.
That's no big deal then. That's an easier transition than going this way.
Much more valuable to this team if he can get 21 outs in a ball game as opposed to coming out and getting 3 outs in the 8th inning, I think.
Depending, as you said, depending on how the rotation looks next year, I would agree with you.
I like it. No, I want a nice big right-handed, side armor, three-quarter thrower with good slider, good sink. Need them. We need starters. Are you kidding me? We don't have a number one starter now. It's wide open. Someone's got to take the bull by the horns and see who wants to be out there.
1-1 pitch from Pavano, swung on and missed. Another guy who will be in the mix as far as the Indians' rotation you would expect next year will be Carlos Carrasco, who also came over in one of the many trades the Indians made. He's at AAA right now, and the Indians are expecting to get him up here probably in a September call-up situation.
I mean, these are just guys that we haven't seen and we don't know nothing about. So it's hard for us to put a picture on and see what it's going to be done. All we can tell is the guys that we've seen pitch, and it's going to be Masterson. I don't think Pavano will be back next year. Sowers, Laffey, and Huff are the only guys we know.
Jake Westbrook.
And Jake,
Fausto Carmona.
and Fausto Carmona.
In tight. 2-2. Swung. Did he go? No. Jerry Lane said he held up. Boy, it was close. I thought he went around. Full count. Inge, a base hit his first time up.
Hard to tell from that angle.
Like I said, at first glance, I thought he went, but here's the payoff pitch now. Runner holds, and a foul back. He just fought it off.
Send out some birthday wishes. Benjamin Schaefer turning 9. Benjamin, happy birthday to you. Alice Steiner of Austintown is turning 60, as well as Richard Brown of Butler, Ohio. Richard, Alice, Benjamin, happy birthday to you all.
Just missed, and it's ball 4. And that's the first walk issued by Pavano, and a rare one at that, only his 23rd of the year. But the first two Tigers aboard here in the 5th inning.
Well, you're looking on that outside edge, and boy, that's a tough one to lay off, but Inge does. Gets the call. First walk of the afternoon.
Gerald Laird popped up to second base his first time up.
Pavano could use the old ground ball double play. He's induced 14 of them this year.
Gerald Laird, meanwhile, has hit into 5 of them. Laird, over his last 13 games, hitting just $150. Runners go. And a pop-up.
Boy, that was sort of strange, wasn't it?
And
trying to make something happen.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think Jim Leland has seen his offense really stall out so many times in this series. Like, let's force the issue and see if we can break it loose.
Well, when something like that happens, you hope he hits the ball on the ground. He did not.
Even though they got out of here with a win last night, they were fortunate to get the win because the Indians had opportunities to win that game last night in extra innings, more so than really Detroit did. And the Tigers just seem to be a team that's spinning its wheels right now. Game and a half lead in the AL Central. White Sox and Yankees underway there in the second inning at U.S. Cellular, and Chicago has beaten the daylights out of New York the last 2 games. And now it's Mark Burley on the hill for Chicago today. The 0-1 pitch. Everett pops it up. Backing up is Marte, and he's got it, 2 down. Once again, let's go back to the studios for a Ford Sports Update with Dave Chudowski.
And we're going to go back to Baltimore. Victor Martinez in on the action now. He's catching today, and he gets his second RBI now with the Red Sox. That made it 5-0. It's 6-0 in the second. Guys, back to you.
All right, thanks, Dave. 2 on, 2 out. Curtis Granderson, the batter. 1 for 2 today. Just 2 for 13 in the series. And not that you expect your leadoff man to be a big RBI guy, but Curtis Granderson has really struggled in RBI situations since June the 20th. 1 for his last 24 with a runner in scoring position.
Well, that's when you're trying too hard, and sometimes Granderson, being the guy he is, knows that he's, a big part of that offense, maybe trying to do too much and driving him in from that leadoff spot. Look at that's not a good swing there. Detroit just 1 for 16 in the series. Runners in scoring position and 2 outs like we have right now.
This is the old caught in between, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Not sure.
Looking for one pitch, and you get the other, and you didn't want to swing to begin with.
The 0-2 from Pavano. Swung on and missed. Carl gets his first strikeout, and a Tiger potential rally fizzles in the 5th. When the first 2 Tigers reached, and then the next 3 Tigers were out on 7 pitches. That's hard to believe. But Carl Pavano continues to attack even when he gets guys on base, and I think that's what has made him successful. And I'm sure at times, Rick, that's why he's given up so many home runs too.
Well, yes, he will continue to attack. There's nothing wrong with that. And you know what? If you got to give up home runs, solo home runs are not bad to give up.
Meanwhile, Johnny Peralta is 6 for 13 in the series, and he is just some kind of locked in right now.
I don't know what it is about the second half of the season and Johnny Peralta.
Well, let's face it, there are some who are going to say, here's a guy who plays better once the pressure's not on. But it can't be that simple.
No. I mean, over the course of the year, you can't wait 80, 90 games before you start hitting the baseball. I mean, you're not going to have any hot spells before then?
Definitely got off to a slow start this year, but he certainly picked it up. Down low. 2 balls and a strike.
This is the guy that's puzzling right here, Travis Hafner, because he is not the same hitter he once was.
Three balls and a strike. Occasionally we see him really jolt a ball, but not with the kind of consistency that we've come to know and expect.
No, you see swings from Travis that you've never seen before in your life. From just inside, balls off the plate, balls that aren't even in the strike zone.
Line toward left center. Granderson into the gap, makes the catch, and Peralta back to first, 1 down. Time now for our Northern Ohio Toyota Dealers game recap. Shin-Soo Choo with an RBI double in the first made it 1-0 Cleveland. Andy Marte a 2-run double in the fourth. Trevor Crow had an RBI double. And then Grady Sizemore, the exclamation point, a 2-run homer, 6-0 Cleveland. For a dealer near you, visit buyatoyota.com. Here is Luis Valbuena, 1 for 2. He shoots one toward the alley. Rayburn, the left fielder, will grab that. 2 down. How about the All Care Dental and Dentures Smile Easy Cam? Always lots of smiles on Kids Fun Day here at Progressive Field. Lots of youngsters in attendance turning out to help celebrate Slider's 19th birthday as the Indians mascot. With 17 locations across northeastern Ohio, All Care Dental and Dentures make seeing the dentist easy. Andy Marte looks at a ball up high. Marte's 2-run double in the fourth helped get the Indians rolling. That staked them to the 3-0 lead. It was 1-0 before Marte delivered, and then Crow followed with an RBI hit, and 1 out later with 2 down in the inning. Sizemore blasted a 2-run shot to straightaway center. Chased one that time, 1-2. We want to send along happy birthday wishes to Nani Luskovich from Byesville, Ohio. Longtime Indians fan. So, Nani, hope you're having a great birthday on this gorgeous Sunday afternoon. Swung on and missed, and the inning is over. 5 complete from Progressive Field. It's Cleveland 6, Detroit 0. It's a 6-0 Indians lead as we go to the 6th inning. And Carl Pavano, who's thrown up 5 zeros so far, will face Ramon Santiago, Clete Thomas, and Miguel Cabrera. And Pavano goes right at Santiago for strike one. Well, what else is new? He's just attack, attack, attack. 64 pitches, 45 of them for strikes, and it's 0-2.
Now, he's had their number all year long. He's gone out and has gone deep into the ball game, has held them to minimal hits, and also just 2 runs in each start the first 2 times. Once 7 1/3 innings, and the other 8 innings. You know, and what a difference a year makes, because on the other hand, Galarraga was 3-0 against the Indians last year. And now he's looking to go 0-3 this year.
Not only that, but, you know, Galarraga was a guy they were so excited about. You know, really felt like they had a real find in getting him.
Well, they did last year, but, I mean, he pitched better probably than Justin Verlander did.
Swung on and missed, and Pavano with back-to-back strikeouts after not having one through the first 4 2/3 innings.
Well, if you're traveling, you can always catch the Tribe games on your computer with MLB.tv. It's the ultimate baseball experience featuring 100 live out-of-market games per week, plus on-demand games. For full details, visit Indians.com, where baseball is always on.
Clete Thomas shoots one back to the screen. He had a base hit his last time up. Pavano's 0-1. Spun him out of the way. Well, the Browns are back on Channel 3 in just 2 weeks. Join Jim Donovan and Bernie Kosar live from Green Bay as the Cleveland Browns under first-year head coach Eric Mangini take on the Green Bay Packers. It all starts at 7:30 with the pregame huddle, followed by kickoff at 8. That's Browns-Packers, Saturday, August 15th, only on Channel 3, your official Cleveland Browns station. Hall of Fame game in Canton will be next weekend.
That's right, next Sunday night.
Tommy Bowe telling us an interesting tidbit on that game. The Titans and the Bills, and they'll be wearing throwback AFL uniforms. The Titans will be wearing the old Houston Oilers AFL unis, and of course the Bills, which they do from time to time wear those throwbacks during the regular season. But now that the Oilers don't exist, it'll be neat to see those.
What time does that game start, Tommy? 8 o'clock. Well, Tommy will be there with his crew doing the game.
Terrific play by Valbuena. The bare hand grab and throw all in one motion to gun down Clete Thomas, 2 down. Well, Luis Valbuena with a sensational play coming in. He had one shot at it because of the high chop.
Boy, once that ball hits the second time, it's got to be done perfectly, and it is. That is not an easy play. When you're running pretty much full out, straight in to throw underneath or sidearm to that first baseman and be accurate doing it, very difficult play, but done beautifully by Valbuena.
Miguel Cabrera looks at the ball down low. Yeah, Captain Kirk Boshenik will be at the helm of the USS Enterprise down in Canton during Hall of Fame weekend.
Yes, he will. We'll be home just about that time to watch that game. Watch his crew put the stats together.
1-1. You want to go down and watch him?
No, we won't have time. We'll be coming in from Chicago.
Oh, we'll have plenty of time. Have the STO limo pick us up at the airport.
If we can do that, then we should.
That would be Dave Pinsura picking us up.
And rightfully so. He should.
Check swing. Did he go? Apparently he did not. 2-1.
He's probably out working on his golf stroke right now for tomorrow.
Well, I know he's not out working on the lawn. You should see him. He's got his kid, 10-year-old Brian Pinsura, out there trying to push the lawnmower.
Good for him. Not a way to go, Dad.
And Dave stands out there watching him and yells at him if the lines aren't straight.
Good.
The only thing missing is like a whip and a whistle.
I would think he's going to be part of that, maybe that STO group tomorrow in the Indians golf outing.
Oh, 2-2 pitch. Full count. Indians Charity Golf Classic tomorrow afternoon at Quail Hollow Resort and Country Club.
You better not show up in the afternoon. You'll be at the awards dinner. You better show up in the morning.
That's the plan. 3-2. It's strike 3 called. Mike Winters rings up Cabrera. He'd already tossed the bat, headed to first. He's saying that pitch was up high. Mike Winters said, nope. Third strikeout for Pavano. Six nothing. Indians in front. Bottom of the sixth inning. They got their slider cupcakes. Did you notice that?
Made for television.
I did. Hey, kids, don't be afraid to share. Trevor Crowe fouls one back. RBI double, scored a run his last time up in the fourth as the Indians piled on with a 5-run outburst, sending 9 men to the plate. Nothing into the count. Some activity now for the first time today in that Detroit bullpen as Galarraga about to deliver his 95th pitch of the day, and he strikes out Crowe. 1 away.
Well, Progressive Field Party Suites, perfect for entertaining clients. Employees are hosting a family celebration. You'll enjoy premium service, food, and beverage. Call 216-420-HITS.
There's right-hander Casey Fien warming for Detroit. We saw him on Friday night. Shopik swings and misses. Kelly is 0 for 2. With what Shopik has done with the hands, this adjustment that we're seeing, would you call this a minor adjustment, or is this something that takes a little while to really take root?
Probably takes a while. You got to get in there and get some at-bats to where it feels comfortable. You know, it seems like today he's swinging at a lot of pitches, you know, everywhere. He's not patient. He's swinging at anything and everything.
3 strikeouts for Galarraga today, all of them in a row. 2 down here in the 6th inning. Well, it's time to take advantage of the Browns Family Value Pack. You'll get 4 preseason tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 sodas, $99. That's $162 value. Browns Family Value Pack available for a limited time only. Call 440-824-3434 or visit clevelandbrowns.com to order yours. Grady Sizemore looks at a ball down low. 100th pitch of the day for Galarraga is down low, 2-0. Grady Sizemore's 2-run home run capped the 5-run 4th inning for Cleveland. And he smashed it to straightaway center field and just did clear the fence. There's another look at that home run hit by Grady Sizemore in the 4th inning. Watch Curtis Granderson. He was going to play it off the fence. It just scraped the top of the wall and got out of here. Grady Sizemore draws a 2-out walk. Rick, I noticed that Aaron Laffey is up warming in the bullpen. Now, he's scheduled to start on Wednesday. But Eric Wedge actually listed him as a guy potentially used today in the bullpen, probably because the bullpen has been used so much in the last 2 nights that maybe figures you could get an inning if you need it from a guy like Laffey today.
He may be just getting his side session in now with Monday or being off. You know, instead of coming in and throwing tomorrow, he's throwing today.
He might have been his emergency guy. If something catastrophic were to happen early in the game, he would have used Laffey. Normally, Eric would not list a starter among his bullpen-eligible guys. 1-0 delivery to Cabrera. It's outside. Caught the outside corner, 2-1. 2 hits today for Asdrubal Cabrera, 6 for 15 in the series, and he just continues to be a very steady contributor. Just bumped that batting average back over the 300 mark.
Oh, yeah.
Hammered deep right field, gone to Souvenir City. Asdrubal Cabrera, a 2-out, 2-run homer, makes it 8-0 Cleveland. His 5th home run of the year. His 42nd and 43rd runs batted in.
Now that one right there, a no-doubter. Boy, you could tell that one left the bat and it was going to stay fair, and it's deep into their bullpen. Home run number 5 for Cabrera, 2nd of the afternoon for the Indians, and that looks like that's going to do it for Galarraga. Let's check out our Pepsi home run replay and watch him turn on this ball. Oh boy, a spinner. That just hung up there, and it just speeds up the bat. He's choked up. But that one belled high, slider speed, goes a long way.
Jim Leyland went to the mound. He asked for the baseball, never looked up, never patted Galarraga on the back, never even made contact in any way, shape, or form. Timeout here in Cleveland, 8-zip Tribe. Indians, as the Tribe has tattooed Armando Galarraga, sending him to the showers and sending Jim Leland into a slow boil, I bet, the way his team has performed this weekend. Casey Fiend coming on for the 4th time this year.
He pitched in that Friday night's game. Let me see.
Yeah.
He was the losing pitcher, right? Gave up the 2 hits.
Yes, he was. I think he was the last man.
Yes, he was. Last man standing. The double of Peralta, the base hit by Carroll.
The reason I remember that,
it was the last inning on
ran
your
out
card.
I ran out of places.
I did too. I had to put him in his own column.
Yeah, you don't plan on having 8 guys pitch in a game normally. So
how about our guest coming in between innings, Doug Jones? A guest appearance, stopping to say hello. I guess he's in for the golf tournament tomorrow.
One of the Indians' all-time bullpen greats. In fact, wasn't he the all-time save leader?
Yes, he was. Yeah, at one time. He's the guy that got me booed in Milwaukee.
He got you booed?
Yeah, on August 26th, where he gave up the base hit when I drove in a run and Molitor was on deck, and it was a 1-0 game in that John Farrell-Teddy Higuera matchup.
Chu looks at a ball outside. Doug Jones led the Indians in saves 4 straight years, compiling 3 impressive back-to-back-to-back years. 37 saves in 88, 32 in 89, and then 43 saves in 1990. And that was the club mark until 1995 when Jose Mesa came along and eclipsed it with a 46-save season. And, of course, Joe Borowski in 05 led the American League with 45 saves in 2007.
Yeah, what a changeup he had, too, man. I mean, he had a changeup, off a changeup, off a changeup. I mean, it was outstanding.
He could just change speeds on the changeup. That's what made it such a devastating pitch. 3-2. Fouled away. And let's face it, from 1987 through 1990, when he was working in that Indians bullpen primarily in the back end, those are some lean years.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Struck him out, and the inning is over. But not before the Indians tack on 2 more. And through 6, they lead it 8-0. Is brought to you by Direct Energy, offering simple solutions for all your natural gas needs. Visit directenergy.com/GoTry for details. And by AM/PM, too much good stuff. Eight 0 Indians lead it. Seventh inning here at Progressive Field. Carlos Guillen leads off. That takes a strike, and what else is new? Carl Pavano just continues to pound away at the strike zone.
He's been great. He's settled down, kept the ball in the ballpark today. He's given up just 4 hits, and has been playing darts with the strike zone. And that was Galarraga's problem. He had 8 2-0 counts this afternoon, Matt, and the Indians were 4 for 7 with a double and a homer when he fell behind in the count. Compliments of Captain Kirk.
Guillen with a feeble attempt. And that is now 4 strikeouts for Pavano in the last 5 Tiger hitters. This is our Direct Energy bringing the gas sequence. Let's take you back to the first punch out.
Well, and it came at the right time because they had runners at first and second and they had nobody out. But Pavano wasted no time. You see a feeble swing there and just wasted no time.
Direct Energy, simple solutions for your natural gas supply needs. All right, here, speaking of Captain Kirk, here's another stat I'm going to throw at you. And this probably isn't all that surprising because most pitchers, when they go deep, tend to pitch well. But there's just such a stark contrast for a guy like Pavano, who's 8-8 on the year and a 5.66 ERA. But when he goes 6 innings or more, he's done that 13 times. He's 8-2 and a 3.25 earned run average. So for Pavano, when he goes deep, I mean, he is a completely different pitcher.
Well, that's a lot like David Huff. He just got beat going deep into his last start.
Here's our Mercedes attention assist of the game.
Yeah, this is going to be a beautiful play by Luis Valbuena, coming in on the dead run with the bare hand on the move, makes the throw. Very accurate, great play.
Meanwhile, the Tigers keep swinging away like they want to get out of town. Inge flies to center, and just like that, it's a 1-2-3-7. Stretch time in Cleveland, 8-zip Indians. Don't forget, you can stop by Panini's, enjoy the game while crushing some pizza, wings, or one of their famous overstuffed sandwiches. Some of the best outdoor dining in town. Visit paninisgrill.com. Beautiful day here in downtown Cleveland, and the Indians are laying it on the Detroit Tigers. They lead it 8-0 as we pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're watching Cleveland Indians baseball. Marcus Thames has come on for Detroit, taking over for Ryan Rayburn in left field. And Rayburn moves in for Brandon Inge at third. Casey Fiend stays on for Detroit after getting a strikeout to end the 6th inning. This is now the 5th time in their last 9 games that the Indians have scored 8 or more runs, and it's no coincidence that they're playing better baseball because of that. The Indians have won 7 of their last 11 coming into today's action, and a chance to make it now 8 out of 12.
Well, following an off day tomorrow, the Minnesota Twins will come into Cleveland for a 3-game series before we head out to Chicago. So we are back into that Central Division.
Johnny Peralta takes a look at a pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Don't forget, you can tune in to Sports Time Ohio for Training Camp Daily. That's tonight at 10:30. All the very latest from Browns training camp under first-year head coach Eric Mangini. Hope you tuned in last night to catch Jim Donovan's one-on-one interview with Brian Robisky.
He was here at a ball game one time.
Yes, he was, yeah.
Sitting in a loge.
Pop foul out of play. Brian spent time here in Cleveland growing up when his dad coached for the Browns. Of course, his dad was a tough, hard-nosed player for the Oakland Raiders back in the 70s.
Well, you had to be hard-nosed and tough to play for the Raiders.
They didn't have any softies,
no,
did
sir. No. Now you got to be a hard-nosed fan to go out to one of those games.
The black hole in Oakland just missed. Full count.
We'll be out there at the start of the season, too, in the middle of September.
That's right.
I'm sure they'll already have a football game on that field, so it may be a little shaky.
Boy, Johnny Peralta is about as locked in as you can get, folks. He's walked twice today. He's singled twice. He's scored a run. Batting over 400 over his last 11 games now. This is what the Indians have done today. Only Pronk and Shopik are without hits. And they have beat him up a big 5-run 4th inning. And then another 2-run homer to tack on in the 6th by Asdrubal Cabrera. Here is Hafner 0 for 3 today. Fly to center his last time up. You're right. I was watching one of those America's Game segments that NFL Films does about the Raiders of, I think it was 1976. They won the Super Bowl with that team. I mean, between Otis Sistrunk and John Matuzak.
Didn't they have the
Kenny
Stork?
Stabler,
Hendricks?
Ted Hendricks, the Mad Stork. You had Jack Tatum and George Atkinson. Yeah, was it not a team for the faint of heart? Little tapper. I think one of my favorite Raiders stories, though, is when Matt Millen was drafted by Oakland. I think that was in 1980. He was coming out of Penn State. Where, they have Joe Paterno by the book, straight-laced. He said in his first practice, he shows up, he's got his mouth guard in, and Ted Henderson, "What is that in your mouth?" He grabbed it from him, and he threw it out into the grass. We don't wear those here.
He should have started pulling his teeth then.
Yeah. Liner to short. It's caught by Everett. And back to first goes Peralta, one down.
Well, the next Subway half-off ticket game will be August 18th. It'll be a Tuesday against the Angels. And any of the Northeast Ohio Subway location, pick up your coupon for half-off upper box Indians tickets and then redeem your coupon at the Progressive Field box office or at any Indians team shop.
One down for Luis Valbuena, who's 1 for 3. Line drive, fair ball, inside the bag at third. Peralta on his way to third. And Valbuena in the second with what else but another double. That's his 15th two-bagger on the year.
And the 5th for the Indians this afternoon. They have 5 doubles and 2 homers out of their 12 hits. Well, that's what you call staying on the baseball, going right with it. That is a thing of beauty right there. So they can add to it, add to that 8-0 lead.
Tigers are going to bring the infield in. Andy Marte had a 2-run double in the 4th inning. 1 for 3 on the afternoon. Looks at ball 1 inside.
The difference I see in Marte this year from last year, I think, is a little more patience. Seemed like he was swinging at a lot of pitches last year that were not around the strike zone, maybe a little bit out of the zone. He did that in his last at-bat, but for the most part, since he's been up here and playing, he's been a lot more patient.
I would agree.
And he's been in much better hitters counts, too, when you look at him. That double he hit today was a 3-1 count. He really wanted nothing to do with it. Marte there, so he pretty much walked him so they could go for a double play here.
I don't know if maybe it's a case where Andy Marte, after everything he's been through, from the the can't miss prospect tag to the going to be the next great thing to failing, to basically being released and then nobody wanted him and then coming back to the Indians and going to AAA. Maybe he's up there with a, hey, I've got nothing left to lose kind of attitude, and that's helped him to relax a little bit.
Well, maybe that could be true.
Trevor Crowe, 1 out of 3 with an RBI double today. Looks at a ball down low. Rick mentioned the 5 doubles for the Indians in the game today. 6th time they've done that this year. Most they've had way back on April 18th in New York when they had 7 doubles. Missed outside. 2-0, and Casey Fiend, who struck out Chu to end the 6th inning, is really scuffling here in the 7th, and here comes the pitching coach, Rick Knapp. Now, watching Detroit play in this entire series, I think back to a few years ago. I want to say it was 06. When the Indians went into Detroit and we had the Sunday getaway game, and the Tigers had won the first 2 games of the series, and they went out and they kind of went through the motions, and Jim Leland blasted them. It was early in the season. They were getting ready to go on a West Coast
trip, right. They
and
mailed it in.
He blasted them after the game, and a lot of people pointed to that as kind of a, hey, kick in the pants, and they took off after that. I wonder, and of course he's got the pulse of his team, but I wonder if they maybe do another one of those kind of tirades after the way they played this weekend,
Well, I don't know.
A lot of life. Bouncer to short, kicked by Everett. A run will score, 9-0 Cleveland.
Well, they got the ground ball that he needed, and Everett, not that they would have turned a double play, but he certainly has to get an out there. And that's got to be an error.
It's gone from bad to worse for Detroit.
It sure has. I mean, this is a guy, he made an error in last night's ball game. Here's one right here. You got to at least get one, and he didn't. So that ball will come out. The bases loaded will remain. He gets the RBI and
broken bat. Dropping in a hurry. Granderson can't get it. And then he kicks it away. Valbuena scores. Here comes Marte. Granderson's throw to the plate. Not in time. 2 more come home. 11-zip Tribe. It's all gone right for the Indians, and it's all gone wrong for Detroit. Here comes Jim Leland. And he's going to make another move to the bullpen. Kelly Shopik picks up a couple of ribbies. And the Indians are tattooing the Tigers here today. Timeout at Progressive Field, 11-zip Indians. Thirteen hits, the Tigers, no runs, 4 hits, 2 errors. They've taken an RBI away from Kelly Shopik because they ruled that on that base hit he had to center field that Granderson, when he came in and tried to make the play, that when it kicked off his leg, they charged him with an error on that. So it's a single for Shopik, and then the error allowed the second run to score. Fute Ni now coming on for Detroit, left-hander, to face Grady Sizemore.
I don't think any pitcher coming out of that bullpen for the Tigers needs any introduction the way we've seen him this weekend.
We're on a first-name basis with everybody.
Well, that's exactly right. When you play extra inning ball games, you get a look at everybody.
The only guy who hasn't been in this series is Jensen Lewis. He warmed up 3 times last night, but never got into the game. Foul tipped. Still only 1 out in the inning. Off day tomorrow. Minnesota Twins come to town on Tuesday. 3-game series. We'll have all three for you right here on Sports Time Ohio. Tuesday night's game will feature David Huff against Scott Baker. 7 o'clock right here on or over on Sports Time Ohio. Our next Channel 3 telecast comes your way next Sunday from Chicago at 2 o'clock. Brady fouls it back out of play. Sizemore had an infield hit in the third inning. Then his 2-run homer highlighted a 5-run fourth inning. Mike Winters punches him out. 2 down. Fute Ni gets the strikeout, his first today. Fifth for Detroit pitching. As Dribble Cabrera having a big series and a big day. He's 3 for 4 with a single, a double, and a homer. Seven for 16 in the series. Looks at a strike. Oh, quickly 0-2 the count. It was Cabrera's triple last night that tied the game in the 9th inning. That led to the tying run anyway. Now the runners are going to move up on the pitch that gets away from Laird. Crow down to third. Shopik to second. Of course, a triple would give Cabrera the cycle. One-two delivery is a swing and a miss, and the inning is over. But the Indians get 3 more, and we'll go to the 8th, 11-zip Tribe.
of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
Well, it's all Cleveland here today. Indians 11, Tigers nothing. And Carl Pavano has blanked the Tigers on a 4-hitter, working into the 8th inning. He has retired 9 Detroit hitters in a row. Chris Jimenez has taken over in left field for the Indians, and Trevor Crowe has taken over in center. Gerald Laird 0 for 2. Peralta knocked it down. The throw still was on the money, but Laird able to beat it out. And an infield single for Gerald Laird snaps that string of 9 in a row set down by Pavano.
They just couldn't come up with it cleanly, but he still makes a nice effort to get that ball across the diamond. It'll go as a base hit, infield hit for Laird.
Adam Everett 0 for 2 steps in. I think he chased after it.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. The Indians broke this game open with a 5-run 4th inning. They led it 6-0, but the Tigers still had a chance to make a game of it. They had the first 2 aboard in the 5th inning, but that's when this game really took a turn for the worse as far as Detroit's concerned. Gerald Laird popped up the center. Adam Everett popped up weakly to first, and then Curtis Granderson struck out, all in the span of 7 pitches after they had their first 2 men on base in a game in which they were trying to come from behind him. And after that, Carl Pavano has gone through him like a proverbial hot knife through butter. In the air, center field, Grady Sizemore back. Trevor Crowe makes the catch in center field, 1 away. And we'll go back to the studios for a Ford Sports update.
All right, Matt, we have the Yankees and the White Sox. The Yankees, CC Sabathia on the hill, and look at this, back-to-back home runs. First it's Jermaine Dye, then it's Jim Thome. CC gave up 4 in the 3rd, but the Yankees have come back. They lead 5-4. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Dave. Typical game at U.S. Cellular Field.
I figured he'd be focused over there at Tampa Bay and Kansas City because Shields has a no-hitter through 7 against the Royals, and they have been scuffling.
Oh, boy. Kansas City lost 4 straight. In that last check, I think they'd lost 15 out of 18. And the Royals, if you remember back, they were 18-11 early in the year. They were right there near the top of the standings, and for good reason, or the feel-good story early in the year because of the torturous years of defeat they've endured in Kansas City, and it looked like maybe they were turning the corner, but they turned the corner and ran into a brick wall. Fouled back 1-2. 24,718 our attendance here today. So for the 3-game series, over 90,000 here at Progressive Field this weekend. Really a great weekend with the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies last night. Granderson jolts one to right. Chu will cut it off. On his way to third goes Laird. Tigers at first and third with 1 out. If you missed it last night, Sandy Alomar Jr. inducted into the Cleveland Indians Hall of Fame. Sudden Sam McDowell, Andre Thornton, Bob Feller, Indians Hall of Famers, all on hand, as was Charles Nagy. Wes Farrell also inducted, former Indians pitcher, and former Indians owners Bill Veeck and Dick Jacobs also inducted in the Indians Hall of Fame. A great crowd on hand to cheer Sandy and celebrate his accomplishments as a member of the Cleveland Indians family. And I thought it was also interesting that Sandy admitted to us that, you know, after he left the Indians, wherever he went, he would still keep tabs on the Tribe, so much so that he took all the ribbing from his teammates in Chicago about, hey, cut the cord, let go, turn the page.
That's what you do, boy. You grow up in that one. You can't help it.
Strike to the outside corner. 1-1 the count on Ramon Santiago, who is 0 for 2.
Somebody that says, no, I don't pay attention, I divorce myself, I don't even look, that's a lie. When you spend 11 years in a uniform.
Just missed with that one. 2-1. Pavano closing in on 100 pitches today, but no activity in that Indians bullpen. He has been in command all day long, trying to keep his shutout intact here. Santiago is going to drive it to deep center. Crow will make the catch, but tagging at third and coming home with the Tigers' first run of the day is Gerald Laird. It's 11-1. That'll give us time to check out the results of the Alltel text poll. Most people agree with the Indians' decision to move Justin Masterson into the role of a starting pitcher, which is what will happen probably by the end of this month, if not sooner. Clete Thomas 1 out of 3 today. Left center field. Jimenez calls for it, makes the grab. Carl Pavano, 8 innings of work, 1 run allowed. Indians in command. Carl Pavano getting the handshakes and pats on the back that come with a stellar performance like the one he gave today. 8 innings, 1 run allowed on 6 hits. Pavano struck out 4, walked just 1.
Well, looking to go 3-0 against the Tigers this year.
Dusty Ryan has come on to catch now for Detroit. And give Gerald Laird a half inning off his feet. Shin-Soo Choo will lead it off for the Tribe. Looks at a ball outside. Choo 1 for 4. His RBI double put the Indians ahead to stay in the first inning.
Well, you should have known it was going to be the Indians' way. That right from the first, when the home plate umpire Mike Winters on fan interference allowed Cabrera to come in and score from first base on the fan interference double.
Up high to Choo, 2-0. It's almost like a different game ago, because when we began, we had overcast skies. It was really gray this morning with the ground still damp from the overnight rain. Now you look up, you can't find a cloud anywhere. Bright sunshine. 3-1. Choo has batted over 300 since the All-Star break. 6 doubles. Fouled back. Now the payoff pitch from Fu Tae Ni. And it's ball 4. Leadoff man aboard with Johnny Peralta coming up next. Well, here's some good news, Rick. John Carter, our old buddy, let us know that all 3 of the Cleveland RBI teams, the junior boys, the senior boys, and the senior girls, have advanced to the finals tomorrow morning in their respective divisions. The RBI program East Regional is being held in Cincinnati this weekend, so good luck to all 3 teams in the RBI finals tomorrow.
Down in Cincinnati, huh?
Yeah.
Not a far jaunt.
Peralta takes a strike, and it's 0-2. Johnny 2 for 2 with 2 walks, 2 runs scored today. The 11-1 Indians. They got 5 in the 4th, 2 in the 6th, 3 more here in the 7th. After Choo staked him to a 1-0 lead in the first inning today. Jensen Lewis looks like he's coming on to work the 9th inning today. Peralta strikes out. 1 down. I'm going to bring up Travis Hafner, 0 for 4. Missed outside. At the open of our telecast today, we talked about the fact that both Armando Galarraga and Carl Pavano, the starting pitchers today, had combined to allow 37 home runs, but 23 of those 37 were solo shots. Today, the Indians Got a couple of 2-run homers off Galarraga to help their cause. And the 2-run homer hit by Sizemore really was a key blow because it made that 4-run inning a really big one. A 5-run 4th inning made it 6-0. And the way Pavano was pitching, you pretty much knew at that point that was all he was going to need. And then Asdrubal Cabrera knocked Galarraga out of the game with a 2-run homer off him in the 6th. So he's given up 20 home runs now on the year.
Well, they thought that they had him settled down because he had only given up a couple in his last 5 starts, but the 2 today.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Not to mention that's the worst outing of the year for Galarraga in terms of the runs he allowed. And Carl Pavano was the beneficiary of the Indians' offensive outburst. High pop on the infield. Shortstop Adam Everett calling for it. 2 away. That'll bring up Luis Valbuena. Valbuena 2 for 4, single, double, 2 runs scored. You know, you mentioned earlier Jim Leyland saying it was a big start for Galarraga today. 1, namely to save their bullpen.
Right.
And 2, probably to try and give his team a boost today, maybe get a good start and able to win this game, get 2 out of 3 and feel like you stole a couple.
Right.
Looking forward to this series against the Twins, another guy who's probably looking at his next start as a key one is Francisco Liriano. He'll come into his start on Wednesday against the Indians with a record of 4 wins and 10 losses on the year and an ERA of over 5.5. And we've seen him enough to know he's a much better pitcher than those numbers.
Well, he's the guy last year that ended up kicking it in after he went down to the minors, remember, and won like 8 or 9 straight.
So I would think that the Twins need a guy like that to really get going here down the stretch if they're going to have a chance to catch either Detroit or Chicago. Bouncer to first, the flip, and the inning is over. We'll go to the 9th here in Cleveland. 11-1 Indians. Ninth inning here in Cleveland, and Jensen Lewis will come on to try and finish things up for the Tribe in his return to the big leagues.
Well, as you mentioned, he was up about 3 times yesterday in the ball game, never got in, so he's going to get an inning today in relief of Pavano, who went 8. Lewis went down, did a nice job, didn't allow a run when he was down in Columbus. He's got Cabrera, Guillen, and I think Rayburn. Did Rayburn stay in the game or did he leave? Marcus
He's
Thames.
still in there. Rayburn went to third.
Okay.
Thames went in for Inge, so he'd have to get somebody on. Miguel Cabrera looks at a ball. Jensen Lewis looks in to the 1-1. Not sure what was wrong. 2 balls and a strike. Jake Westbrook will make his first rehab start since June the 12th on Tuesday. That'll be for the Akron Arrows when they take on Connecticut. He's scheduled to pitch 3 innings or make at least 50 pitches. Swing and a miss, 2-2. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Eddie strikes out Cabrera. 1 down here in the 9th. Let's get a look at our Northern Ohio Buick Pontiac GMC performance of the game in a 3-hit affair for Asdrubal Cabrera, including a key 2-run homer that made it 8-0 back in the 6th.
Cabrera continues to stay hot.
Did you see who is going to be managing the Arizona Fall League team for the Indians?
David Bell?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I talked to Buddy the other day. He told me that.
The Peoria Saguaros.
Right. He was, this is the first year he's managed. He's managed Double-A in the Cincinnati organization. Sort of took to it.
Ran it in off the plate. Of course, David Bell hit the first inside the park home run here at Progressive Field. And ironically, the last guy to hit an inside the park home run against the Tigers was another Cleveland Indian, Casey Blake, who did it here in Cleveland against the Detroit club. Missed outside. 2 balls and a strike. Two-one delivery, swing and a miss. Have you ever seen an Arizona Fall League game?
No.
Are they done by October, or do that
No.
when they start?
They play up until I think past Thanksgiving.
So they start after the regular Major League season is completed, right?
Yeah, for the most part. You know, maybe right at October 1 or whatever. And that goes for 2 months.
Just missed. Full count. I'm just wondering for our fans who would be interested in checking out David Bell and his Arizona Fall League team, is that something that is fan friendly in Arizona Fall League?
Oh gosh, yes, yeah. I mean, a lot of scouts go out there. It's good baseball. A lot of top prospects play in that league. It's not bad baseball. As a matter of fact, Eric Wedge was just inducted into their Hall of Fame. He was an AFL player years ago. There was a lot of guys.
So it's really a chance to see the stars of tomorrow today.
That's exactly right.
1 on, 1 out here in the ninth. Ryan Rayburn, 1 for 3, steps in. He's gone 4 for 9 in the series. High pop right field. Chu battling the sun. Has it 2 down. So the Sunday crowd looking to put the final out on the board. And watch the Indians take 2 out of 3 from the Central Division leading Detroit Tigers. And do it rather emphatically here in the series finale. Marcus Thames getting his first at bat today. Looks at ball 1. Here we are in the 9th inning. That game in Baltimore is only in the 5th, according to our scoreboard, and it's 14-6 Boston.
Oh boy. Well, you can put up some crooked numbers in that ballpark in a hot summer day.
Meanwhile, in Chicago, 7-4 Yankees over the White Sox. They're in the 6th. Back over the screen. Angels hammering Minnesota again, 9-2. Boy, the Angels. They're like a slow pitch softball team now.
Yes, they are, and they have been for over a month. Scoring at will.
Missed with that pitch. 3-1. So if the Yankees hold on, the Tigers will still maintain a 1.5 game lead over the White Sox in the division. (3-1). Hammered foul. Twins look like they're going to limp in here under 500. Unless I wonder if they're playing tomorrow. I think they have a wraparound 4-gamer with
I'll
the
let
Angels.
you know.
That'd be pretty rare. Yeah, they're off tomorrow, says Murph. So they're going to limp in here a game under the 500 mark. But still only 3 games off the pace in the division. Time is called. Payoff pitch, swung on and missed, and the game is over. Jensen Lewis finishes things up for the Tribe here today. Carl Pavano gets his 9th win of the year with 8 stellar innings, allowing just 1 run. But the Indians offense won this game today, scoring 11